Hello, this is Patrick with Royas, and welcome back to our Godot networking multiplayer series. This episode, we are going to track connected players and track network objects. So let's get right into that. We finished the standard stuff in our network manager, so let's get into these two. So let's go into Unity, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a script right here. Create new script. I am going to call this character data connected character, and I'm going to create that. Then I am going to go to this girl here, and then I'm going to make a script here. So new script. I'm going to store this in the folder. I'm going to store this in the folder scripts, and I am going to call this network object and create. Okay, so this network object, I'm going to go class name, and then it's going to be network object. Okay, I'm going to save that. I'm going to go back to Godot and open up this connected character. So I'm going to delete everything in here. We don't need it. And I'm just going to go class name connected character. Or should I be connected player? I'm going to change this to connect player. Rename. Okay, so this connected player will be what stores all of the data that we need for each connected player. So the first thing we need to store is a connected player is going to be var network ID, and this will be type int, and then we will store a player's objects, and this will be of type array network object. Perfect. Okay, so that's all we need to store in our connected player right now. Let's go back to our network manager. Okay, we are going to make a variable here called var connected players, and this will be a array of type connected player like that, and we'll set this equal to an empty array. Then we'll make another variable here, and we will say this is network ID, and it'll be of type int. We'll make a variable is server, and this will be of type bool, and we'll set this equal to false by default, and then we'll say var network started, and this will be of type bool, and we'll equal this to false, and we'll make a signal on server started. Okay, there we go. We've got those variables done. Now what we're going to do is scroll down to this create server function we've got down here, and we are going to say network started is equal to true when we've started up the network, and then we will say is server is equal to multiplayer dot is server. There we go. And then we'll do something similar for when the client connects to the server. So on connected to server, I'm actually just going to delete all of this. We don't need this here. We are going to set our network ID equal to multiplayer dot get unique ID. So that's going to be our network ID. And then we're going to say network started is equal to true. And then on server started, we are going to emit this. Now we need to make something to track those connected players. So I'm going to make a helper function right here. So I'm going to go on create connected player, and then this is going to take in a player ID of type int is here, and that's it actually. And this is going to return a connected player. So I'm going to make a variable player is equal to connected player dot new, because we're going to make a new one for the new connected player. We're going to go player dot network ID is equal to player ID, and then I'm going to return the player. Easy enough. So now when the server someone connects, so I'm going to do on peer connected. So whenever a player connects to the server, I'm going to go connected players dot append, and I'm going to go create connected player, and I'm going to pass in the peer ID, and so that'll add the new player to the list. But we are going to want a player for the server as well, so I'm going to go into this server area and boom, put that here, and I am going to do 1 since the server is always going to be 1. Or I could go, actually I should probably do this, multiplayer dot get unique ID. Either or works, but just in case for some reason it's not 1, I guess I should do this. Now we are going to make a function so that the network objects can register themselves when they connect to the network. So they are going to register that they are with each player and stuff like that. Now that the server has track of all the connected players, and each connected player knows that they has track that they're a connected player. So I'm going to go func register network object. This is going to be a network object of type network object that is super clear, and I've said network object so many times. So I'm going to say if not is instance valid network object, I am just going to return. Should throw an error here, but I'm just going to return for simplicity. Now I'm going to say if not multiplayer dot is, I'm just going to say if not is server, and we are going to actually, I'm going to hold off on this because I'm going to wait and make an ownership thing in network object, but return. I'm just going to return out of this. I'm going to make a thing so that this is going to say if it's not the server and it's not the network object owner, then we're going to return because we don't care. Now I'm going to loop through all the players. So I'm going to go for connected player, player in connected players. I'm going to say if player dot network ID. I'm going to make this actually now. I'm just going to var owner ID int. I'm going to be defaulting this to 1. I'm going to go back to this later. So if not is server and network object dot owner ID doesn't equal network ID, then we're going to return. Okay, so in here, I'm going to say if player dot network ID does equal network object dot owner ID. So if they do match while we're looping through, then what we're going to do, and then we're just going to continue if they are not correct, or if it's not, the network ID doesn't match, then we're just going to continue. I'm going to say if player objects dot has network object. We're going to say if it has it, we're going to print an error, print where player already owns this object, and then we are going to return. And then finally we are going to go player dot players objects dot append network object. So we're going to finally add this network object, and then we're going to print if everything goes well, added network object. All right, so now we've got our function to register network objects. Now let's go into our network object and set everything up in there. All right, now that we've got our owner ID, which we made earlier, just for simplicity, we are going to go at on ready var network manager is equal to get node network manager. We're going to make a Boolean here, var has begun initialization. We'll set this to false, and I'm going to say bool. I just like having the actual name. That's a me thing. And then I'm going to make a var. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that yet. We are going to go and make a signal on network ready. Wow, I can't type. We are also going to delete the process function. So in this ready function, we are going to say if not network manager dot network started. So if it hasn't started yet, we are going to go network manager dot on server started, and we're going to connect to that signal that we created earlier. So we're going to go connect, and we're going to make this function down here func on network started like this. Okay, and we're going to check if has begun initialization, and if it has, we're just going to return so that we don't call this twice. And I'm going to pass this into here, and then I'm going to say else here. If the network's already started, I'm just going to call this directly. So this way, if this object already existed in the scene before the network began, it will connect to the network. And if the network's already started when this spawned, it will do the initialization for both. That makes sense? Okay, now let's do the initialization process of this object. So I'm going to start with the begun initialization. We'll set that to true because it's officially started now. We're going to go network manager dot register network object, and we'll go self. So it's going to register itself with the network manager, and we are going to go on network ready dot commit. So we're going to say that the network it's ready now. Finally, we are going to clean up this signal. So we are going to say network manager dot on server started. I'm going to check if it's connected first, actually. So I'm going to say if network manager dot on server started dot is connected, network started. So if it's connected, then we are going to disconnect it. So network manager dot on server started dot disconnect, and paste in that. There we go. So now we've begun the initialization process of this network object, and then I'm going to make a nice little helper function here. Is owner, and this will be turning a bool. And I'm going to say if, actually I'm just going to return owner ID is equal to network manager dot network ID, and that way we'll know if this object is the owner in a simple way. And I'm going to go fix this here. And so we'll go network object dot is owner. So if it's not owner, then we will return here. Now we've got our basic network object initialization done. Let's go to Godot and run it just to see if it initializes correctly. Added network object. Perfect. One time. That's all we needed because we only want it to work on the server because that's what we've set it to be owned by default. In the next episode, we'll manage ownership of this object. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Bye.